In our last video, we were in Clarksville, Arkansas, the home of the University of the Ozarks. We strolled the streets of the historic downtown, saw a very cool event center and farmers market, and enjoyed some of the unique street art. In this video,
we're in Alma, Arkansas.
For context, we visited Alma in late April of 2026. Alma was the 8th stop on what we're calling Wanderlust 2026, our road trip from Central Florida to Kansas and back again.
Alma has a current population of about 5,800. While this is a new building, it honors the city's railroad heritage. And behind it sits the Depot Food Station, a covered food truck pavilion and community gathering spot which hosts live music and other community events.
I applaud any town that carves out space for town gatherings.
And next door is The Shed, a community gathering space. The Little Rock and Fort Smith Railroad was completed in 1876. This was a central hub for the timber industry.
You know, for further context as we're walking around downtown, know that this was filmed on a Sunday.
Yeah, apparently that Food Depot station is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Unfortunately, since we were here on Sunday, we didn't get to see any of that.
I'm just going to say right up front, this is one of the more interesting downtowns that we've filmed. And by interesting, I mean it's not very often you find yourself one of the only people in an entire downtown.
Alma sits along the border between the Boston Mountains and the Arkansas River Valley.
Yeah, this is a beautiful part of the country, for sure.
This facade and empty storefront, along with the one next door, now house a city park with playground equipment. We didn't film that because there was a family there.
Yeah, what a creative use of an empty building space.
We're now approaching Popeye Park. So some history. The economy here was largely agricultural until the introduction of the canning industry. In 1987, they began calling themselves the spinach capital of the world because more than 50% of all spinach canned in the U.S. was canned in Alma. The town has various statues of Popeye, with this one being erected as the centerpiece of Popeye Park in 2007. The annual Spinach Festival was hosted between 1986 and 2016 when the local spinach canning plant closed. Unfortunately, now Crystal City, Texas is the spinach capital of the world. This beautiful park is maintained by the local Master Gardeners Group. In addition to the park, you can see that the city has made specific efforts to beautify and revitalize the downtown through extensive landscaping. It was just gorgeous.
I definitely agree, but if we're being totally honest, when we read that this place had a huge statue of Popeye, that's actually what brought us into the downtown.
Absolutely. We're now on the campus of Alma High School. This is one of the nicest high school campuses I've seen. And here you can see the personalized parking spaces that the high school seniors painted. This is the police department building, which opened in 1978. It includes a memorial for the father of Alma, Matthew Locke. Alma was incorporated in 1874.
And at this point, we're back on the main street, just returning via the opposite side. Something that we learned long ago to do because it gives you such a different perspective. Like most downtowns we visit, this is an interesting mix of the old and the new. And as the video shows, we couldn't have picked a more beautiful morning to visit.
The Alma Masonic Lodge was established in 1946. Now you can see that facade with the playground equipment across the street.
And in addition to the beautiful landscaping, notice the brickwork along the sidewalks. This downtown really was beautiful. If you're new to our channel, you know that some of our stops are planned, but a good number of them are not. This is a perfect example of something that was just on the way of where we were going anyways. We read that it had this Popeye statue, and here we are. And I'm glad that we stopped. It was very interesting to learn about this town's history and to see this beautifully landscaped downtown.
The Alma Methodist Church dates back to the late 1800s.
And with that said, it looks like it's time to wrap this video up. All right, that's Alma, Arkansas. What are your impressions and what surprised you?
Well, my impressions are that someone, probably the city, has put a lot of effort into redoing landscaping downtown. It looks beautiful, creating some walking spaces and a park. So I am impressed with what they've done. Now, there's not a lot of businesses down here, and maybe they're hoping that by doing that, that will encourage people to come down and create some businesses here. What surprised me was how lovely their high school campus is, which is adjacent to downtown. It's beautiful, it's huge, has a huge football stadium, so that was a surprise. And seeing a large statue of Popeye was also a surprise.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a huge asterisk and just admit I'm speaking from ignorance because we haven't done our homework on this place. So, take this with a grain of salt, but I think Caroline's right. I think the city has invested a lot of money into the downtown, but it's not occupied yet. So it looks like we're kind of getting here in the middle of a process. Yeah. And by the next time we visit, hopefully there's things that people want to come to, like restaurants and more shops and things like that. So my guess is this place will be very different in the next 5 years or so.
Absolutely.
Although there's some really cool infrastructure. Behind us is this, it's called the Depot. It's a food truck station, and just over there is what I would assume would be a great place for festivals. So there's a lot of stuff that I can see that will make this area very cool. As Caroline said, this high school looks more like a college campus. I mean, it's immaculate. It's got a huge stadium. I don't know, maybe it's brand new as well, or certainly well renovated and well taken care of. So, this is an interesting place, and I'm glad that we stopped. And although it's not very big, I suspect that will change with time. So, okay, get off the couch. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.